Do you think over at Disney these days their philosophy is, if at first you do succeed, try again?
Elliot. Come on!
Pete's Dragon is a reimagining of the original 1970s hand-animated dragon, Pete's Dragon, this time with a CG dragon in a brand new story. Is it a world that's worth taking flight into again? Here's 5 things you might want to know about Pete's Dragon. I, like many people, are tentative about the whole remaking the classics kind of idea, but I try to go into it with an open mind, and here's why. Because sometimes these movies are great, and this movie is really, really good. I really like what happened here. Now, I think a lot of that has to do, and we'll say this is number one, with the heart of this movie, the emotion that's captured here. You've got great performances. Robert Redford is wonderful here. Bryce Dallas Howard. The kids here are really good. All of that comes together with a brand new story. I think that's vital as well. They're not copying the same old story, so you get to invest in new story points and story beats, which really results in some well-told, well-realized moments of emotion that actually had me on the edge of tears. One of the reasons the emotion works really well, and maybe the best thing about the movie, they nail this dragon. There were moments where this dragon was emoting and making me feel things just as much as the humans were. I think that's a testament to doing something a little unique with it. I mean, this is a furry dragon. It's not a scaly dragon, and yet somehow they make it work. It's like they're honoring kind of the goofiness of the original movie and kind of that, chubby, overweight style dragon, but also at the same time putting it into this very fully realized universe. And it's a tough trick to pull off, but I think they do it in a way that builds the emotion because you connect with this creature. If you're willing to go less Game of Thrones in your imagination and with dragons and a little more Falcor, I think you're going to be fine and really enjoy Elliot in this. It also works because the story is really kind of simple. Now, I am so glad to be able to make this point because there have been a few movies that I've taken down for story recently, and I continue to get some of the same comments of, well, why does it always have to be so complex? I don't need a complex story. In fact, a very simple A to B story can be very rewarding, and I think that's what you have here. It doesn't have to be complex. It has to be effective. If you're going to get me from point A to point B in a simple way where I'm not engaged by twists or story movements, I have to be engaged in what I care about, the motivation of the characters, the story points that I want to see happen. Something has to be compelling me through. And this movie has a good handle on that, so it doesn't need complexity because it's already effective. Now, having said that, there is one thing about this movie that brings it down for me, and I'm going to take it in 2 parts here for number 4 and 5. Let's start with this. It gets slow in parts. There are moments in this simple story where the brain does drag a little bit. It's brief, it's not for a long time, but I felt myself drifting here and there several times throughout the film. And I think when a film has such an emotionally engaging story, it has to remember that that's not the only part of what the audience wants. And because of that, I think it slows down a little bit much for my taste. In part 2 of this, the slowdowns, is the part I think really could have made this almost a perfect film. I think there could have been more humor here. I think the humor is dialed so far back because I think they kind of want to go for a more serious tone. I don't need it to be laugh a minute, but every good drama, every good action movie, all have these humor beats spiced throughout, whether it's a character who is our comic relief, whether it's just these moments of levity. I did not feel that here. Maybe once or twice, but not enough. And I think if they had peppered those slow moments with a little more humor, something to make us smile, something to make us laugh a little bit, I think they really would have hit this one out of the park. Overall, I will say Pete's Dragon, though it is a remake, again, I think is a worthy one. If they had just notched the humor up a little bit to speed up those slow parts, it could have been perfect. As it is, I say it's right around a B. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. Appreciate you subscribing. You can click the logo down here to do that. We'll get to the best ever challenge here in a second. Before we do, though, there's some other things to click around and find out. If you want to see other reviews, you can click the info button up here. Also, you can support the channel there. Easy way to do that if you want to support. Also, if you want to search for me on social media, I'd love to hang out. Aaron Dicer, Aarondicer. It's nice on like Twitter or Periscope or those kind of places because it's like a two-way conversation. YouTube, just me talking to you about movies, but I love to hear your feedback as well. So be sure to hit me up that way. Also, if you do podcasts, we do a weekly podcast called SiftPop, SiftPop. We have a lot of great discussions. We expand on the Best Ever Challenge this week. So we talk about our favorite, well, I don't want to give it away because the Best Ever Challenge is coming up, but our favorite movies in that category and kind of go a little deeper. I think we all do our top 3. It's a fun podcast, so search for SiftPop, SiftPop, in your podcast player. All right, now we get on to the Best Ever Challenge. Boy, I almost spoiled it. I know, it's just you're waiting with bated breath. This time we're going to do the Best Ever Dragon movie. Okay, it was a pretty obvious one. What is the best movie ever that features a dragon? Take your guess at mine in the comments. Also leave your choice there as well. Here's a clue for mine. Mine is the one where the main character's name had a lot to do with his dental situation. It was the first movie. That's probably too easy. Take a guess at mine in the comments and leave your choice there as well. And as always, here's 5 extra seconds to hit the subscribe logo. In case you want to subscribe to the channel, just click it. It's right down here in this corner.